So,
Oh my god, Joe.
what? What are you gonna say?
Nothing.
Say it. Say it to my face. Fucking
So
do it.
we've been doing this. Joe's got this great system worked out.
I'm glad you like it because I
So we've
like
been
it.
doing a lot of live transitions on the show, which we never did
Yes.
before. Everything was done in post.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, you were like counting us in to the intro,
Yeah.
and I want people to watch the video so they can see like what I'm doing, but because I don't know how I'll describe it. So Joe kind of has like this sort of like just a very straight face, somber, and he's like count down 3, 2, 1, and then it pops up and Joe's smile just goes wah. Like, oh man, it's like the clown backstage before he goes. It's like, oh Jesus Christ, Carol, I miss you. And
We
then
live in
it's
a
like,
society.
And then it's like, welcome, howdy doody, and
We live in a society.
we live in a society.
Do you
All
remember?
right.
Do you remember all those memes that came out after the Joker came out? Where everyone just was like making jokes about how they kept saying like, "We live in a society," and they would just say that, and that's it.
It's pretty funny.
We live in a society. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I was gonna say, it's weird. We're starting. I'll just start with I mean, that's a great start if I know any. Welcome to Film Juice, show where we talk about movie news, live transitions, movies, and shows of the like. I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
And I'm Andrew Canada, and I also host this show as well.
I gotta say this one. Never mind. I'll say that to you after the show.
Okay,
It's
okay.
no. It's one of my. I can just say it now. I guess it's one of my favorite. It's like one of my favorite bits that just like ended up happening. Like, anyway, I ruined it now, but there it is.
Yeah, it can't ever be done again. So you called attention to.
God damn it.
Now it's over.
now
The
it's-
Renaissance has ended.
The golden age.
That's right.
The golden age.
This is the way that the principal and the pauper is like the Simpsons episode that people look on and go like, the show wasn't good after that. This will be that for Film Juice.
God, ever since it's before. Wait, what we gotta abbreviate it. Before bit and after bit. So BB and AB.
BB and AB. Okay.
I feel like there's a better
That's
a better
That's like a cheat
abbreviation.
code, I think, isn't it? You do that in Smash Brothers. You get
No,
like,
it's like before BC and AC.
No,
right?
Joe,
Or
I
AD.
know. Jesus
Oh.
Christ, dude. I know what it's like. That. You see, there's a book called the Bible.
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about have you heard of Imagine. Oh my god.
Imagine.
John Lennon, everybody. Okay. We're going in. I'm telling you. It's all the kombucha.
God, it probably is.
Yeah.
It's clogging your brain or something. All I know is kombucha fucking rules, dude.
Rules, dude. That's gonna be on a shirt. Are we allowed to have that on a shirt?
Probably not. I feel like that's probably already a shirt, but that's something we can look into.
God. Oh. Film Juice merch. That'll be the day.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we definitely can't use the juices loose, though.
No, because that's OJ probably.
Yeah.
There's no way. Sadly, he doesn't deserve it. We deserve it way more, if I'm being honest.
Than OJ?
Yes. I mean...
He's paid his debt to society, Joe.
Get the fuck out of here!
For the tax thing? You mean for the tax thing? For what he went to prison for? Or do you mean that other, little incidents?
That little...
Where he was acquitted by a jury of his peers.
There's, two incidents. God, that's crazy. Anyway, oh my God, if we, okay, we're just gonna get past it. I was gonna say, if we ever did that Netflix show, the miniseries they did, the People versus OJ.
Oh, that was an FX show.
Oh, did they just move it to Netflix then?
It's just on
Oh,
Netflix.
okay. No,
Yeah.
that was fucking, that was great. That was a good show.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? It's really good.
No, I couldn't get over. I mean, I know that it was supposedly really great, but I just couldn't get over the way that Travolta and David Schwimmer both looked.
Yeah,
it was wild.
Travolta, they're both barely in it. If I'm being actually, Schwimmer I liked, but John Travolta
I heard he did a great job.
John Travolta is still like a little like weird when you see him. He's the one that you definitely like can't like lose yourself. Like once you see him, you're like, that's John Travolta.
Oh, it takes you out a little bit.
Yeah, so
That's rough.
but he's not in it that much, if I'm being honest. But yeah. So anyhow, what was I gonna say? Oh, it's so weird. We're recording this to break the immersion. Sorry, we're recording this the week of Halloween. And it's just interesting because we recorded the Halloween episodes already. Like both of them are done, fucking sent, ready to go. We might do, and we're talking about it now. We'll figure it out soon, but we're hopefully gonna get the first watch party under the belt, soon. Only a little delayed, only a month or two delayed, but you know, stuff happens. Yeah, maybe that'll be Halloween themed if it's close enough. We'll see. We have plenty of options for that. But I don't know why I decided to talk about that, but I just felt like I wanted to. So we got some wild movie news this week. Not a lot, just two things that are like pretty cool. So I guess Andrew, if you want to start it off here.
Yeah, so for us, literally like an hour ago or less, some places are still like putting it out. So it might have been like 30 minutes ago, the news came out that Netflix is doing a live action Assassin's Creed series. We talked about that movie came up on the show
last episode.
Recently.
Yep.
With the one with Michael Fassbender. I never saw that. I think I played the Assassin's Creed games.
Oh, they're so good.
Small amount. I know I played
couple are good.
the one where he's in like Greece or Rome or whatever. He's in Rome.
Oh, you
Assassin's
played
Creed Odyssey? Is that
Oh,
what
you
it is?
played like a newer one. Holy shit. I thought you were going to say
I
one
played
of the
that a
older
little
ones.
bit.
Jeez.
I think I played 2.
Two's the
a
best
little bit.
one.
And when I say a little bit,
Two's
what I
good.
mean is not, like a little bit for me with these games is like I played them one time for like 90 minutes.
Okay, wow, that is a little bit. I'm a huge fan of I'm a huge fan of the games. They're like, well, okay, I'm a huge fan of the older games. They have gotten a lot worse since they first started making them. I heard Odyssey.
No, it's not been as good since Farley and Sandler and Spade, and Chris Rock were there.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Adam Sandler low-key could probably play Desmond Miles if he tried. He could definitely.
I don't know who that is.
He's like the OG like main character of the show the games. He doesn't. You know how they like there's, I mean, this will come up when we're talking about the news. I guess we should say they're going to be doing a Netflix show, which is crazy. Like, I mean, we just talked about the movie with Michael Fassbender and how like you didn't see it, but I watched it and it wasn't very good. I mean, but this is the thing. There were good parts in it. All the parts when they were in and you've played some of the games, so you should know. You know how there's like two different worlds. There's like there's the generated world that is them in the past, which still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then there's the like like I get it, but it doesn't really make sense. But and then there's the real world where the people are like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, extracting these memories from the ancestors and stuff. So, and you like have to go in this machine called the Animus and stuff, and the the group running the Animus is like Templars, and there's a name for them. Abstergo Industries. They're like the bad guys, and anyway, it's a whole thing. But there's a lot there, and it's weirdly like Westworld esque. It's always reminded me, like the aesthetic of Assassin's Creed has always reminded me of Westworld, like when they're in the real world, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
and how like they can go back and forth. Like that's a cool idea. It's a little different, obviously, but so anyhow, the cool parts of the movie, the coolest parts of the movie were when Michael Fassbender was inside of the Animus and actually the assassin and doing all the cool shit. Like, it was great, but I think it was only like 20 minutes of the movie or something like that.
Whoa.
It was bad. Like, it was very not well balanced. Most of the movie was outside of the Animus in the real world. And that stuff is interesting, don't get me wrong, but when you're doing a movie like that short of a film, like you have to balance it like better than that. And they did not balance it well at all. And maybe that was budget or not. I also didn't really like how they did the Animus in that movie. It was kind of weird. I don't know if you didn't see it, so, but you know how in the games you sit down.
I read a couple Animorphs books.
God, that's a throwback. But anyhow, that aside, I always thought after I saw that it would be so much better as a show because you have so much more time to really get into it. And I think that works. Shows adaptions of video games I think work so much better than like video game adaptions of movies because there's so much in a game that happens. It's 8 hours at least, like
Yeah.
of story and gameplay. So when you're trying to diminish that down to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's difficult. I mean, we saw Warcraft, and I like that movie. I don't think it's like, I know it's not very good, but like I kind of enjoy it still for like some of the stuff that they did right in it. But there's so much going on and there's so much packed in there. It would be so much better if it was like spaced out and they had like more time like with everything. So like I think that holds up with a lot of video game adaptations. And I think it'll definitely benefit it that this is going to be you know, probably an 8-episode series. It could be longer, but usually Netflix does 8, I think. At least for newer
they seem
shows.
to like 8, could be 10, but I bet you it'll be 8. Yeah, that's yeah, even more so than books, video games uh, benefit from having a series and being able to flush all that stuff because
Yeah.
there's so much lore in just about any video game.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, even the longest books, I mean, they can take you like 8 hours, whatever. If you're reading like Order of the Phoenix or
Mm-hmm.
something, right?
Yeah.
Or even a Stephen King book.
Yeah, like
But with those that long, I mean, Stephen King books definitely benefit from series
Yeah.
more than they do
for
movies.
sure.
You can see that across the board. Even they had to do into 2 movies, which wasn't bad.
No. It wasn't.
But yeah, even more so with video games because they're so, especially because you're at least in some way in control of the narrative.
Yeah.
You can discover a lot more things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. There's all kinds of Easter eggs and side missions and stuff in video games. So you spend a lot of time flushing out a lot of stuff in there.
I think
I think that especially, seeing what they did with The Witcher, which that's a video game, right?
Yep. Oh, I didn't even say that. Yep. That's great.
Yeah. they'll probably do a good job with this, with Assassin's Creed, with this property,
Yeah,
because it's it's very popular. Um,
I definitely hope so. I am a little worried because you know, it really depends where this show goes. This show can go in a lot of different the show can basically go anywhere. That's like the whole thing about Assassin's Creed that's kind of cool. They can really do whatever they want as long as but the issue that they run into is their writing, especially after the first few games, has been very weak. Um, and I'm a little nervous. I see that Netflix has done a great job with The Witcher, and I fucking love that show, and I can't wait till we can do that on the show. And yeah, that show just rocks. But I think the difference here, and the reason why I'm a little bit more nervous for this, is I'm assuming Netflix would be working with Ubisoft, who's the developers of Assassin's Creed, and Ubisoft has like a pretty rocky track record, especially with these games. So I'm just interested to see where they take it. I guess that's all we're gonna have to find out where they take it. If they try and do like the first few games, I think this could be amazing.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that that's exactly what they're going to do. I don't think there's any point in doing the ones where it's like the Revolutionary War,
Yeah,
or
and that
like
one,
I said, the one
yeah.
in Rome and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Because it's even people that aren't familiar with the games, like myself, uh, they they would recognize the uh, look of like the first couple games.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling what they're gonna do is I'm curious whether they're gonna start if they do that. I'm curious if they're gonna start at the first game or the second game, because they could easily jump right into the second game and just like kind of do fill-ins of the first one. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. I think fans would be really happy if they did the first few 1, 2 and Brotherhood, which is basically the reason why people like those ones so much is cuz it's one coherent storyline and it follows the same characters. So it's like there's like more there than just like single one-offs. Um, but I could also see them just doing a completely new thing. Like, and that could be good too. I just think we'll have to see. But we have no information other than it's going to be a thing. We don't know when it's going to be made. Um, I'm sure they'll start production like soon, but yeah, we don't know casting. We don't know a whole lot, but it won't come out for a while. But
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Especially, I'm sure that they will, take their time with it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I'm really curious though because part of me wonders if them doing this show has anything to do with them canceling their other huge sci-fi show, Altered Carbon, because I wonder if they like
mm,
because
right?
I hated that they canceled that show because that show like I mean we both loved that show. That show
Yeah.
was fucking awesome, and I'm like bummed that I'm still bummed that they canceled it because season 2 I thought was really good. Um, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I part of me wonders if they if they wanted like to maybe not split audiences and try and just have one go-to sci-fi like video game kind of show because they have kind of similar like I don't know.
Sure,
I think
sure.
they could have had the
I know
same,
what you mean.
but
Well, I just I hear you. But I just don't. I mean, that's never been Netflix's play, though, right? Netflix's play has always been just to flood as much
you're right.
content as possible and see what sticks.
You're right. You're right. So I
So I
don't.
don't think that that necessarily has anything to do with it.
Mhm.
However, for fans, it could be a good substitute now.
Yeah, so I don't know why. I still don't know why they canceled that because like I thought it did really well. Maybe it didn't make enough though. Anyhow, that's a whole other side point. We have one more little bit of movie news, but it's pretty small. But Oscar Isaac is officially in talks to be Moon Knight, which I don't know a whole lot about Moon Knight, but I know Andrew, you know more about Moon Knight.
I mean, just a little bit. Yeah, I wish I had actually looked them up a second ago. No, I have the encyclopedia, the Marvel encyclopedia, and he's
that's
in there,
sick.
obviously.
That has to be huge.
The one that I have is a couple editions back. But yeah, so Moon Knight has always been compared to like a lot of people have always called Moon Knight like Marvel's Batman.
Really?
I never really liked that comparison. Yeah, because he is kind of.
Oh, does he not
similar.
have powers?
Geez, now I have to make sure to look everything up here because I used to know a lot about Moon Knight, and now a lot of that has just left my brain. So I'm trying to remember. There's a few like specific things that I'm trying to remember about him, but let's see. So it looks like Moon Knight. Looks like there's only been one Moon Knight, so it's not like a mantle that's been thrown around to different people. So the character that Oscar Isaac is going to play looks like his name is going to be Mark Spector. Cool name.
Ooh, that is a cool name.
Who was a former boxer, CIA agent, and mercenary. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, cool. Okay, so he does have superhuman abilities.
Okay.
It looks like he got them from the Egyptian moon god. When he was almost dying, the Egyptian moon, he fell into this archaeological
That's cool.
And the Egyptian moon god sort of made him like his herald for the earth, and so he goes around and fights crime. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I just saw something. Okay, yeah, first appearance 1975 in Werewolf by Night number 32. That's pretty cool.
1975. He's an older character. Damn.
Wow. So he's Chicago born, Jewish American, rabbi's son. Cool. Ooh, yeah. So I did see this one thing like just yesterday. It was a panel from some Moon Knight comic, and it got me really excited because it was and you're gonna like this when you hear it. But it was so it was Moon Knight walking down an alley, and he goes something along the lines of like, I know you're fucking here, Dracula. Where's my goddamn money?
What?
I can't hear you, Joe.
What?
Are you muted or did I mute you?
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know what happened there. So Moon Knight, pretty cool guy.
That's crazy.
I feel like the tone of this Disney Plus series is gonna be like really dramatic. I think it's kind of going to be similar to the way that the Netflix Marvel shows were, in that the tone is quite different from the movies in the MCU.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily going to be as dark, and there's not going to be any swearing or anything. I think they're going to keep that on the down low. That'd be my guess. I know that they are going to do like a have a rated R section of Disney Plus where like the Deadpool movies and stuff are going to
Hmm.
be, and some other
I
stuff
think
that
they're
they've
gonna.
obtained.
I think they
But
might bring back. Do you think they're? Do you think they can use the Daredevil? Um, I don't know if
I
they're
don't know, man.
allowed to. That's a lot of contract shit. I have no idea if they're allowed to do
Yeah.
that. Cause like, I know they can do their own Daredevil, obviously. Cause like,
Hmm.
but I don't know if they can use the Netflix. Cause I know they canceled the
Right.
Netflix Daredevil, but I
Yeah.
don't know if they can take the Netflix Daredevil and put him on Disney Plus, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing that they
And
can
like
do.
reincorporate that into the
Yeah, I don't know.
MCU.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they
Maybe.
can do that.
And probably not, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
And that's a
tough.
shame because Charlie Cox was a great
He
Daredevil.
what? That show's great, dude. I mean, I
Um,
even liked. I even liked. I liked the Punisher. I thought the Punisher was cool.
oh yeah. Well, God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, but holy
Yeah,
shit,
he's
that
a
guy's
great
an incredible
actor. I can't. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name too. But yeah, he's great. And then just the first season of Jessica Jones was great too. But season
Oh
two,
yeah,
I
that
heard
was
I
really
didn't
good.
watch season two. I heard
Me
it wasn't as
neither.
good. But anyhow, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. We're not gonna see anything for that for a while, but I love Oscar Isaac, so
Oh yeah.
I'm pumped. Um, but that brings up your whole thing too again, where you're like, we're getting into the realm where more big names are getting into these superhero
Hmm.
roles. So it'll be interesting to see how that like works out.
But but Oscar Isaac like
Yeah,
would do such a good job with this particular superhero.
yeah, he'd be cool.
You kind of gotta. That's the thing is there are those instances where you know you definitely do feel like what I've expressed again. It's so cool to see when they bring kind of lesser known actors getting these roles. But then you get somebody like Oscar Isaac, and
Yeah,
it's like,
he's
oh,
one of the
fuck, you know what? You got me on that one because
he's
he's
one of
gonna do
the
a
he,
great job.
he's one of the best right now for sure. Like he's great. Um, did and then this brings me to another question I had. They this reminds me about remember that that movie that was supposed to come out? I think it was like it was like a it was the Jared Leto like vampire
Oh,
one.
Morbius,
Yeah,
that's still
Morbius.
coming out.
I know. I haven't. I've like. I obviously it got delayed, but like I can't even. I didn't even hear about it. Like it was just like after that trailer, haven't heard anything. Like
Well, I think
that
that
movie.
was. I don't think you were supposed to yet. Like I
Yeah,
think like that trailer was such a like that was the definition of a teaser trailer.
true. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but I'm still interested to see how they incorporate that whole thing into the MCU because apparently Michael Keaton and Tom Holland like Tom Holland's like character like it's in the same universe as the
Right.
Spider-Man, so that's fucking weird. So that means Venom is
No
in that.
idea.
I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, um, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to more stuff coming out on Disney Plus. I know the Mandalorian's coming out. It's gonna start
Couple
coming out.
days.
Yeah, Friday. We're not gonna review that until the whole thing is out. So that'll be probably a month, right? I think it'll take a month or two for that show to be like completely.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 So what that'll be in a month or two when we can, because they do that by week. So
Right.
we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, yeah. There's one more thing, really quick, that I just remembered that was confirmed, and it's just a little relevant, so I want to bring it up. But remember when I said that Hocus Pocus 2 is going to be a thing?
Hmm.
They, and I know I said that the original cast was going to be in it, but they like double ultra confirmed it this week. Like yesterday, I guess Bette Midler like had an interview and she literally said like everyone's in it. Like they
Wow.
have the original cast like in.
But they're turned to stone. I whatever. Look, it's cool, but Jesus Christ, man.
The only way I would want it to happen is if they had the original cast, and they do. So,
but you know what? This is an instance where that doesn't even do it for me, just because the end of that story was so definitive. And
yeah,
a lot gets said about people, making sequels and reboots and revisiting. And look, I don't really give a shit about that. Like, they, do whatever you want. A lot of it's really cool to see.
mm-hmm.
But this, I don't like. I don't know.
It just it doesn't.
I feel like you're gonna have to ignore a lot to accept
It'll be interesting.
Whatever happens in this movie.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I am kind of interested to see like a more modern, like version of it, but at the same time, I love the classic, and I don't really want that tarnished. So
I don't think that it'll tarnish it either way, because if this movie is bad, they just throw it out.
You're right. It reminds me of when years ago there were talks of Beetlejuice 2, and I was like, no, like no, just leave it alone. No. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's gonna happen. I mean, it's happening. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what direction they take it. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be nearly as good as the first one. Like, I don't think it can be. I really don't.
I have no idea.
Like, dude, I watched that clip again yesterday. The bubble, I'm in trouble. And
that's so funny.
He spits out the window. It's just perfect. That scene is the best scene in that whole fucking movie, other than the singing scene. Anyhow, great movie. We reviewed that a couple weeks ago, so go check that out. Anyhow, without further ado, let's get into the movies this week. We got a special episode this week. We have 3 weeks in a row of just bam, bam, bam specials. This isn't the Spooktacular, though. This is not the Spooktacular. This will not be part 3. This is instead going to be a Borat special. Because the second one just came out, like, Friday, so a few days ago. And we are going to be talking about that, and what better time to not talk about the first one? Because I also have never seen the first one until today. Or yesterday. So we're going to talk about that. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So we're going to, I mean, it makes more sense just to go in order. So the first one we're going to get into here is Borat from 2006.
What is a not jokes?
A not joke is when we're trying to make fun of something, and what we do is we make a statement that we pretend is true, but at the end we say not, which means it's not true.
So teach me how to make one.
All right. What color is your suit?
This suit is gray.
Gray. I would call it blue. Okay.
It's gray.
All right. It's blue-gray, but it's certainly not black, right? All right. Let's say it's gray, but it's not.
It is gray.
Okay. So a not joke was, I would say, that suit is black. Not.
This suit is not black.
No, not has to be the end.
Okay.
Okay.
This suit is black, not.
This suit is black. Pause. You know what a pause is?
Yes.
This suit is black. Not.
This suit is black. Pause, not.
No, you don't say pause. This suit is black. That's a pause. Not.
This suit is black.
Okay. I'm not
Not.
quite...
That is the so yeah, Borat 2006. This movie, so you recently, I don't know how I've seen like clips of this movie like around, but I don't know how I missed this whole like movie. Like, when you talked to me about it, like, I did not know how big it was. And it's like It was huge.
Yeah, it was massive.
It's directed by Larry Charles, and it I we'll get into this more when we talk about Borat 2, obviously, but it's like a time capsule. It's so strange. Let me talk about what the movie's about, I guess.
Okay.
So
The official title, I think a good way to start.
Oh
with
yeah,
that is
if you could say
the
it.
full title is Borat: Cultural Learnings of America to Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. And so this movie stars Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat. He is the fourth best journalist from or reporter from Kazakhstan, and which is right between Urzikstan and there's another one that I'm forgetting.
Uzbekistan?
Is it Uzbekistan that I meant?
I have
don't
no idea. I
Well,
don't remember.
it's in the middle of that area. So, and I actually I wanted to make sure, like, yeah. So it takes Borat is from there. He's the best reporter. He's fourth best reporter there, and basically they send him on a journey with his friend Azza. I want to get his Azmat. I wanted to get his name right. I don't know why it's like written somewhere here. Okay, Azmat, and they are sent from Kazakhstan to America to basically do like reconnaissance. Like they're just trying to get more information about America so they can like try and bring that to Kazakhstan and make their country better. And that's what the movie is. I guess I should say also, this is a mockumentary, so it's not like a movie. It's not your like typical like movie where you have, there is a plot, but it's not like there's very real instances of like just what's the word I'm looking for? Like
I don't know, but there's moments of sort of
like hidden camera, like
cam footage
yes.
where Borat's interacting with people that don't know that this is a character and an actor and stuff.
Yes.
There's also though a blanket of a narrative that does go across the whole movie, which is that Borat falls in love with Pamela Anderson after watching an episode of Baywatch, and so he kind of starts to shirk his duties. He has a sort of a set itinerary about where to go in the U.S., what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then he decides, he just has to find Pamela Anderson.
Yes, and then
things go off the rails.
So, right away, before I throw it to you, I just want to say this movie sets the tone right away. And also, I think watching this movie in 2006 would have been so different than watching it now. And that's fine. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just, it's like I said, this movie's like kind of like a time capsule. Like, this is a different America. Like, it is not, and like, thankfully, like, I definitely think some things are better now, because holy shit, like, some of the stuff that happens in this movie is wild. Like, and there's some stuff that happened in the second Borat that's also wild, but like, it's like, I don't know, like, you have to watch it, and we'll talk about some of the stuff, but like, it's weird seeing in America at this time, and like, I didn't, like, if you told me like 2006 America, I don't think I would have imagined it like this, but this is.
What do you mean?
Like it's like there's not a lot of there's not really any technology is still not like the
iPhone didn't come out until 2007.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that. So what I'm saying is I didn't realize how far back 2006 really was. Like, right. that was when, it's still like relatively fresh from 9/11.
Yeah, exactly.
There is George Bush president?
Mhm.
So their whole like the whole war is happening. That's like the terror, like the war on terror is happening. So like it's just a different time, and there's different issues that are happening at that time, and I guess I just didn't realize how close it was um to that. Yeah, I guess that's, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying, I was just, yeah. I guess I didn't think it happened in 2006. I thought it was like a little earlier than 2006, but no, it's crazy though. Anyway, it's just weird looking back on it, but it's very cool, I think, to see. But yeah, this movie sets its tone right away with the intro. Like, it's fucking wild. Like, the Kazakhstan.
We got a cat here. Get out of here. They're doing something. You talk to the people for a second, Joe. I'm gonna...
Oh my god, it's crazy though. I don't know how to talk to the people. Hey, people. Oh my god. Oh, talking. I could just cut this out. But am I going to cut this out? I don't know. Probably cut some of this out. Yeah. So yeah, I wonder how wild it would have been to like just walk into this movie and like not know what you're in for, right?
Yeah.
Like, I went in knowing what I was gonna be in for, right? So like I can't imagine how shocking it would have been watching this in the theater for the first time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even if you could speak to this, but for me, when I watch it for the first time, even though you do have an idea of what it is, it's still shocking to see just how far Sacha Baron Cohen is able to go and how far he takes it.
It's crazy.
Incredible.
It's
so
nuts.
Man.
It's
so funny.
it is.
It's strange to see it through the lens, however, and again, this will come up with the second one, but it's strange to see it through the lens of people in the movie that he interacts with, having no clue who this guy is, thinking that he is like a real foreign person.
No, yeah.
Having no clue who he is, and now Borat is one of the most recognizable figures of the last decade, probably.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, it was huge. It's huge. It blew up, and like, rightfully so. It was wildly successful, and that movie had its own set of controversies that the new one also like even apart from the new one. But he's obvious, like, it's very interesting. It's obviously like, not only does it have it's strange because not only does it have its own wild and wacky narrative, but he's obviously like using that narrative and using the places they visit and the things they do to kind of influence the message that they're trying to like tell. So I think that's a very interesting way to do it, and it's wild because you're getting people's real, for the most part, other than like a few scripted scenes, you're getting people's honest like sayings and reactions. And there's a few sayings I would not want to be like in this movie, like, as like these people.
Oh yeah.
Like, the things they said, oh my god, like that cowboy guy in that scene with the when they're at the rodeo. Oh, like, I know he like tried to sue. I think he like went to sue like the movie. I don't know if it went anywhere. But I did some research after, because like I actually couldn't believe some of the things that happened in this movie, more so than the second one. Like, I think the things that happen in this movie are way harder to believe than the second one. Some of the things, I guess, but
Yeah. Well, again, it definitely was a different time.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And I almost feel like you can't talk about this movie without bringing up political correctness.
Oh no.
I
Just
think
politics
that
in general.
I think that one thing that this, and we'll talk about that more in the second movie, I guess, because it's more relevant.
Yeah.
But just to kind of blanket over, this was a time where obviously political correctness and stuff wasn't widely spread through like Twitter and stuff like that.
Very true. Very true.
And again, because there was a benefit to the government and to nationalism for people being, racist.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that folks were concerned with as much at the time.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Like the racism in this movie and the and obviously it's 2006, so also like the even more like the racism and the homophobia in this movie it's crazy, like, because like they showed like there was a part where Borat goes to the gay pride parade, and I thought that was a really funny scene, and then it cuts in to him talking to a Republican senator or congressman. I don't know. I did not write down his name, so my bad. But it's only like a very brief interaction that they show, but like he's just like talking to him about like his interaction with the gay community, and he's trying to explain it to him. It's oh my god, it's wild.
There's a lot that this movie does in such a skilled way, by using this character. To showcase ignorance and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
And we could talk about that forever.
No, I know.
But the thing that I can't stress enough, like with all that stuff aside, this movie is fucking funny. This movie is really funny, and I think that's the point of it. And it does, it's hilarious when people get exposed for being racist and stuff, and like, how could you say that thing? And but I think the main thing, and this especially in the sequel that we'll talk about, is that when people interact with each other, we're still tribal creatures, and when people interact with each other, especially with strangers, for some reason, there's always really this want to be liked, and with a stranger, I feel like you'll give them a lot more leeway with things, and there are a lot of instances where people will just because you're saying something to them, they will just sort of reflect it back to you in a way, including through passively, like not just going like, oh yeah, but just kind of like, if you say something like crazy, not necessarily like agreeing with it, but just kind of going like, oh yeah.
I completely agree. That's crazy that and this really showcases that well. I will say, and I know I keep bringing up the second one. I'm gonna stop, but I do want to say, this movie is funny, obviously, but I honestly think that, and this is just a personal thing, like this is very much just a personal thing for me, but this movie for me was a lot more shocking and cringy than funny, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, I think I find certain things funny, while it can be subjective, and it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it any less. It's just I think I laughed a lot less because I was just uncomfortable. And I was and there were parts where I was uncomfortable and still laughing, but I have a hard enough time getting through, like, I'm really bad with, like, shows like New Girl in the Office, where, like, just they put you in really uncomfortable scenarios, and, like, I think I paused this movie like 10 times because I was like,
Wow.
holy shit, I can't, like, I gotta take a break from that, because, like, and it wasn't long pauses, I just needed to, like, be like, oh, this is really hard to watch, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
think I do.
I'm definitely more prone to that, I think, than others. I just, like, when there are, like, really uncomfortable things, like, happening, like, on screen, I just have such a hard time getting through it. And it's still funny, like, it's still very funny. It's just, I definitely, like, was more shocked, and I was definitely more affected that way than laughing for this movie. But
Interesting.
and I don't, and you know what's funny? I don't even think it's not even because, like, and it's not because, like, I didn't think it was funny. It's just it was, like, so jarring. Like, I was just like, holy
Right.
shit.
Well, I think especially, uh, yeah, I bet you're not alone. If people like watched this movie for the first time right now,
Yeah.
because it's completely opposite end of the spectrum is where the mainstream culture is.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people would have similar
Yeah.
reactions.
And I don't think it's bad. I mean, the stuff that
Yeah.
people say is bad, but, like, the random people saying
So-
this shit is bad, but, like,
Right.
The-
No, I mean,
but it is funny. I definitely
yeah,
agree.
it's
I
very
just
funny.
I just definitely found it a little bit more shocking.
Right. That's interesting.
But the reason why I
Man.
mentioned The Office and New Girl is because I just want to make clear I am definitely more sensitive to, like, cringe, like, kind
Sure.
of things.
I've seen that a lot with The Office of people talking about like cringy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember and that's another thing. Like when that show aired,
Mm-hmm.
uh, those moments, cringy is not a word that I would use for like when they aired on television.
Mm-hmm.
Things are just changing, and I think that this movie is a huge reflection of how much things have changed.
Oh yeah, it is. It definitely is. And yeah, for sure, man. Like, dude, when he get I mean, okay, I do want to, before I get too carried away with stuff that happened in the movie and stuff, I do want to say um he did the writing in this movie is great.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the writing that is in the movie is great. And I also think the directing is amazing, and the the editing is like, I just, you know what, the main thing that was in the back of my mind while I was watching this movie is how much of a nightmare this movie must have been to in pre-production. I don't know how the fuck they could have ever. I would love to watch a documentary on this movie, because
Yeah,
I
seriously.
I really want to know the process of how they wrote it and how loose it was, because they obviously can't script everything.
Right.
So I just, and like editing that too, like editing the real script to with like the part that people fill in, and then I have to imagine that some of the scripted events had to be afterwards, because some things happen during the not scripted events that influence the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
think a couple things there. I think that one, if you saw how this movie was made, it was probably like really guerrilla film making. And you know, when you have somebody who's, you know, maybe the best character improviser on the planet ever.
Yeah.
Obviously that is going to cause you to have to improvise from a directorial standpoint, and everything else. So there's. I want to talk about this a lot more because I know a few more things, like
Okay.
specific inside things about this second one. But yeah, I imagine it was a ton of like writing on the fly. But also,
Yeah.
I feel like when you are the type of as skilled of an improviser as Sacha
Mm-hmm.
Baron Cohen, you can direct the conversation
Oh,
in these
definitely.
improvisations in a certain way,
Yeah. He
with the overall narrative in
he
mind.
did that so well, and it just
Yeah.
like, but and this is the thing. There's definitely like an uncut version of so much stuff that was filmed because, and this is even with the second one. There's stuff in the trailer for both of these films, and most of the trailer isn't even in the movie.
Yeah.
So there's just a bunch of stuff that like, is obviously like not put in the film. I'm kind of glad they do the trailer like that, where, because you don't want to see, especially with comedy movies these days, they always show the almost the best part of the comedy movie
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
in the trailer. And then it's like, why am I going to watch the movie if I just saw the best part? So, but this movie, I like that for both of them in the trailers, they purposely used footage that didn't even make it in, but are still good in their own right. So yeah, it's nuts. I do want to say there's a few really funny moments. There are a few moments that like I actually couldn't believe happened, or I was so confused how they actually got it to work out so well that I had to look up like some of the behind the scenes on this movie. So I found that that frat boy bus or the frat boy. Okay, that was one of the parts where I was like, there is no fucking way that this is like not scripted. Like I was so in denial. I was like, there is no fucking way these are real people and they are actually this like they actually think these things. Like there's no way. And then I fucking looked it up and they were definitely all real and part of the same frat. But I guess what happened was the producer like set up a thing with them and they didn't tell them what was happening. They just like said they rented them an RV and had them drive out and pick Borat up and said, "Hey, you're going to pick him up and you're going to do an interview or whatever." And so that whole part is scripted. Not scripted in the sense where they have a script, but like that's how they got them there. They already set up an appointment ahead of time, but they had no idea like what was going to happen or
right.
And also I guess the producer already had them drinking before they even had them.
Sure.
So, but it's interesting because I read that and I was like, that's crazy. Like, I guess the producer had so much like of a role in the production of it because he was the one calling and making all of the appointments. Right. So I guess most of the things that happened in the movie, when they were unscripted for sure, they were all like set up by this guy.
Well, I think that makes sense because it is supposed to be, Borat is supposed to be a journalist making a film, like a newsreel film.
No, for sure.
The nation. And I mean, you have to do it that way with the producer in the middle because that makes it creditable.
Oh no, yeah. And that's that was the one thing that I was what was I gonna say? That was the one thing I'm glad I did look into with that particular scene with the RV because I was just like, there's no way that he just stumbled upon these guys. Like this is like too good like for that to be. So
right.
So they definitely did set that meeting up, but they didn't do anything else, which that's one of the craziest like parts of the entire movie is that whole.
Oh yeah, that's probably my favorite part, especially when they when Borat says he's going to take Pamela Anderson's virginity.
Yeah.
And then they are like, "Oh boy," like that's the thing. It's because it's interesting to see how people treat Borat in a couple different ways.
Yeah.
Because they can sometimes treat him like he is dumb because he's foreign and he doesn't speak English all that well. and sometimes they can treat him. I guess they mostly probably just treat him like that. And I think that it definitely comes from a place of, good intention. But
Yeah.
usually it's pretty
Well,
but also ignorance, right?
well, yeah. Oh my god.
But
And-
but also in that you can tell they kind of definitely like want to break it to him easy,
yeah, that
And
was
it's funny when
yeah.
he puts people in, because he can put people in like crazy positions for sure, but when he puts them in positions where they have the opportunity to be very gracious, that's interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? I know that after doing the research on that scene, they all of those frat boys tried suing the movie afterwards because of like they obviously were not shown in a great light.
Yeah.
And I mean it's their fault. They said it all. Like it's not like he
Yeah.
and you know what's funny about that scene in particular? I think he was even like I don't he never shows it cuz obviously like you said he's like a master at this. But like I think that he there you like you said he definitely influences the conversation to go ways where he wants them to go. And they were also drunk obviously. But I don't even think he didn't even try to get them to go into places where they even were talking about.
Right.
And they just did it on their own. And I think even a part of him was like a little like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
like, geez, well, this is gonna be good. But it's nuts. And you know what's crazy? Just like you said, it's one of the other really like you were saying, like this movie is just like it's just funny and there's just funny parts in it. One of the other parts, and I played it in the segment, that whole it's a small segment, but that whole not joke segment
Yeah.
is that
He's trying to learn about humor from that guy.
that whole joke
He seems like
segment,
the unfunniest man on the planet.
I know. Make jokes about mother-in-laws. Ah, yes, in
Oh my
America,
God.
we love to make jokes.
Yeah, it was like fucking 1946 maybe.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like that was honestly, and that happens in the beginning, but like that was one of my. I really like that part. Also, the part where he's around America and he's trying to kiss people, and people are like gonna fucking beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta say too. There are some parts of this movie where I would love to see how they got out of the like. So, for example, the bull part. I want to
The
know.
rodeo, you mean? Or-
Yeah, the rodeo.
Okay.
I want to
Yeah.
know how the fuck they got out of there because
I don't know, man. That's
dude,
unbelievable.
I read a little bit into it, and I guess he that was the producer said in the article I was reading, he was the one giving them the information. I guess the producer said like they booked it out of there, and they like if they said if they stayed any longer they thought they would have gotten very hurt. And like they were actually like a little worried because especially during that time, and even what that guy said to him about like obviously like that was the part of the movie where I was like, this is not very far after 9/11. Like this is a mindset of like war on terror. And this is when like a lot of people were like unjustly like racist to a lot of like Muslims in this
the thought
country.
was like exactly, because they were told that like Muslim people did this to us. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we got them. I mean, I'm using that accent, but it was everybody.
Yeah. And they and like and he even was talking to Borat and he was like, you look like a Muslim, and he was like talking to him about all this like stuff, like you should shave your mustache, and I'm like, and I'm sure right after that whole thing like that he did that whole thing that he did, like they did not like I don't know, man. That was a wild scene. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the most impressive, in a way, the most impressive part of that movie, because it's just like again, the lengths that he was willing to go to make fun of people and make people laugh,
Yeah.
for his comedy. Holy
I
crap.
think.
I mean,
Yeah.
to put it in a certain way like that, the amount of balls that took.
Yeah. I think that
Suicide mission.
No, I know. I think that there's two others that come to mind, and then I know we gotta move on to the other one here,
Yeah.
but I gotta talk about them briefly. The one with the super church, the mega church. Holy shit. That, I mean, obviously, like, we've heard about, like, obviously, like, mega churches exist, but, like, I've never seen, like, that was as close as you can get, like, from the outside looking in, I think, to seeing, like, how that shit goes. Like, just the tons part, like, when they're, like, literally just
Right.
speaking, like, gibberish, and, like, I don't know, like, how you feel about me saying this, but, like, I mean, like, because I don't want to... You have to be out of your fucking mind to believe this shit. It's crazy. Like, and I'm not saying, like, religion or Christianity. Like, I don't want to... But, like, this is crazy. Like, this isn't even that. Like, this is just something... This is its own fucking thing. Like, this is just... Oh my god, it was nuts. Yeah, that was one of the most, like... And when I was talking before about, like, shocking, that was just, like... That was
right,
just...
so that's an instance where the shocking thing isn't even a joke that Borat's making, but the reality of what he's showing you.
Yeah, and, like, the fact that I know that those still, happened today... Oh my god, I was like, this is unbelievable. And then the last funny part, is when him and Osmet are naked. And, like, there's other funny parts, but, like, how did they do that and not get arrested? How the fuck did they do that and not get arrested? When they go in the elevator?
Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine being in that elevator. Holy shit. There's the guy in the corner. He's, like, trying to not make eye contact. And then they crash that Republican meeting or whatever, and they don't get tackled. They tackle each other, and they're getting, like, ushered out. The guy slaps them. Holy shit.
I love when they're at that, when Borat's at that, like, fancy dinner. Oh my god, just all of that is so funny. Like, these people are, like, so not used to being offended by things, and they have no idea, like, how to, like, they're so used to, like,
being in their own bubble and, like,
being in their bubble and, like, being very polite about stuff.
Yeah.
When he is, like, talking about how, like, the three wives, like, you and you do very well in that country. Not so much you, but the other two. Like, that's so funny.
When he brings Lalona, or is that her? Lalona?
Yeah.
I loved Lalona. She was great. She's actually, I guess, so that was another part. She's not actually a prostitute, I guess. She's an actress. She's a comedian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought she was actually... What, did you think that's stupid that I thought she was a prostitute? I don't know.
No, I guess not.
He found her name...
It's hard to tell in this movie.
It really is, but no, she was a comedian. But for a second, I did think that she was, like, just a prostitute.
That's pretty funny.
It could be real in this movie, man. And then, obviously, the last part, the most famous part of this movie is when he tries to kidnap Pamela Anderson. And that, obviously, I did look it up just to be... just to make sure. But yeah, that is a scripted part of the movie. Pamela was in on it. But they really make it look like she was not, for some parts.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I will say, when she started running out and she was running in the parking lot and she was just saying shit still, and like no one was coming to get her, I was like, okay, I'm like pretty sure that she's in on it, like here,
Right.
because there's no way that like she wouldn't have a team, and like there's no fucking way. But yeah, that was, and like, but yeah, that was nuts. I guess there's like this whole rumor that like this broke up Pamela Anderson's and Kid Rock's marriage. Like this is what like got them divorced. I don't know why, but yeah, I saw that article like 3 times, like different articles, like while I was looking this movie up. I was like, why did that? What? I didn't look into it because I didn't care enough, but I think it's very interesting.
Well, we better rate this.
No,
thing.
I know. Yeah, you're right. We gotta move on to the other one. Oh, I just want to say one more really quick thing. The craziness of Borat taking a shit on like in front of Trump Tower.
Yeah.
I was like, this is 10 years before anything even started happening. Like,
yeah.
Obviously he had no idea, but you know, that was nuts.
It's so hard to see Donald Trump in that different lens now because he was so famous.
People still didn't like him, obviously,
for other stuff,
but
a lot of people really did like him, though, dude.
Oh no, I know, but I'm saying like, for sure. I'm just saying what's it called? People still like there were still like people who didn't like I think
like he was fun to make fun of.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was crazy. Anyhow, I don't know, man. This movie's hard to rate. I'm gonna rate this movie. I think I gotta give this movie. Oh, it's tough. I gotta give this movie an 8.5. I think an 8.5 is a good score for this movie, and I think it'll make more sense once you see my rating for the second movie. But
Okay.
An 8.5. I think this movie is a solid 8.5. I didn't enjoy it as much as I loved it, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as some other people because of just because of how I laugh at certain things and don't laugh at other things. But this was still an amazing movie, and I highly recommend it. It's on Amazon for only 6 more days, I guess. I don't know why. The second one's going to be on there for a while, but the first one's only going to be on there for 6 more days.
Well, that's a Prime original, so that's going to be on there forever.
So, yeah,
if you
crazy.
have Prime.
What are you going to rate this one?
Oh, man. I'm going to give it a Borat.
It's tough.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Wow.
I almost want to give it a 10, honestly, because one, for what it is, it
started it.
They perfectly created what they wanted to create. They perfected the style, the dedication, and the skills of Sacha Baron Cohen, unmatched.
Yeah.
And for the light that it sheds in such a unique light in such a unique way on so many different things. Like you said, it's a time capsule.
Oh, it is.
Time in a way. That's very well said. And because this movie is so funny.
Yeah,
this is a hilarious movie.
When they are in the Jewish house, I didn't even mention that. That's like one of the funniest scenes. That's one of the funniest moments in the entire movie.
Funny. It's so funny.
When he's recording with, oh my god, when he's in his bed recording and he's like, I am in the house of the...
Like, this is a level of satire that is... I don't know why, I guess I do know why, but people just, I don't know, they don't accept it, I guess, anymore. But holy shit, is it funny. 9.5.
This movie's very
I could give it a 10. The only reason that I'm not going to is because I just don't know exactly the way that this movie is going to be rewatched. If it's going to be rewatched in the future, time and time again for enjoyment or for that time capsule aspect or how exactly. I'm sure that it will be rewatched. I'm just not sure exactly with what
Yeah.
lens.
I think it's, I mean, from my perspective, like watching it for the first time in 2020, it's like I would probably say for that time capsule aspect, and this movie is more about, especially more so than the second one. No, the second, probably more so than the second one. This movie is more focused on reflecting America as a whole and the different parts of America and the different cultures of America back on itself, and kind of making that statement. While the second one, as we'll talk to in a second here, is kind of,
let's just jump.
Yeah,
let's just
jump
right into it.
Yeah, you go.
Finish your thought. I mean, it could be a good way.
Oh well, yeah, like this one's more, as we'll talk about. Right now, this one is more. Borat 2, is
subsequent movie film.
The subsequent movie film, just came out Friday, and so a few days ago, and this one is definitely a little bit more politically. The first one's politically fueled, but this one's definitely a little bit more politically relevant, and we'll get right into it.
I go to America! Borat! What do you say? No, it's not me.
Borat, come back!
People may recognize my face. I would need disguises.
This man is sex criminal? No, no sex criminal.
I will take this to be a fat like American man.
Yeah? This is a good one. Where is his crumb? What is problem, officer?
Got somebody that's strapped to the top of your car. You need to sit in that passenger seat, boss.
Only men and bears are allowed inside car. I'm here to give my daughter as a gift to someone close to the throne.
I need dress with real sexy peels.
This is a bag that just goes over the dress.
They're nice.
I really like this.
So, this film, as you just saw from the segment from the trailer, I think you could tell right away, kind of where more of this film is going. And I don't think people expected another Borat, because it's, after the first one, such a cultural phenomenon. How would you make a second one without, compromising the whole idea of the film and not being recognized? Which this film, as you can see in the trailer, attacks head on. It attacks it. He is getting recognized, and that's part of the problem and part of the one of the obstacles in this movie that they run into.
Right, not just when making it, but the character of Borat has to deal with that.
Yes, and they work that in really well.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yes, it is. It's great, and it's not in the movie a lot because obviously that can't be a whole thing, but that is in the beginning, and that's really good. So tonally, this movie. No, I gotta summarize it. I'm sorry, I'm getting. Actually, you wanna go for this one?
Sure.
Yeah, go for this one.
When we rejoin Borat, he's in prison. They put him in prison because after his first movie, Kazakhstan, became a laughingstock of the world. So now the leader of Kazakhstan has brought Borat out of prison to go to America to deliver the most famous star in Kazakhstan, which is Johnny the Monkey, who's a porn director and star apparently. And so they want to deliver him as a gift to Michael Pence so that they can get into Trump's basically his Legion of Doom, his inner circle of Putin and Kim Jong, whichever one we're on now.
I think we're yeah.
And like, and become basically like a world power
Yeah.
through that way. When Borat gets released, he goes back home and he discovers that he has a daughter. And he obviously treats her terribly because women, that's one of the jokes of the movie, is that women in Kazakhstan are treated poorly. She follows her dad to America by sneaking into Johnny the Monkey's crate. And so then Borat's like, what are we going to do? So then the premise becomes, because if he doesn't deliver the monkey, then he's going to be executed. So he faxes the leader of Kazakhstan and says, okay, and so they decide, okay, well, let's, instead of the monkey being the president, let's have your daughter be the president to Michael Pence, notorious ladies man Michael Pence.
Yeah.
So they have to figure that out. And the very first thing right off the bat with this movie is that the actress who plays his daughter, Maria Baklova, did I say that right? Bakalova.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Okay? Because that's, it's easy enough when you have somebody like Sacha Baron Cohen to do a movie like this, but it's got to be so difficult to find someone who can keep up with him and do the same things, be in character for hours and hours and, be a great improviser and handle, sometimes dangerous and compromising positions.
Yep.
Holy cow, man. She disappears into the character as much as he does.
Yep.
I don't know where they found her.
Yeah,
but
this is her first movie.
They must have really taken their time, because that's the only way this movie was going to work, is if you took your time to find the right person to do this.
Yeah.
And they absolutely did.
Because she's in it a lot.
Yeah.
And
she does. She does a great
She
job. So,
killed
like you said, I mean, obviously, just based on the plot, this movie's definitely more politically driven in a way than the first one. The two things that I want, so the thing I want to say about the background of this movie, and I just heard this story yesterday. So what they show this part in the trailer, and you're not really sure exactly what's going on in the trailer, but when Borat is in lockdown, where the coronavirus, he's in he is in this house with these two guys. So he actually lived with those guys for 5 days.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine.
I gotta make sure not to spoil anything. I don't think I will, but yeah, so he quarantined with these guys for 5 days, and the crew would leave at night, and then he, as Borat, would stay there at night for 4 or 5 days, which is
crazy.
Insane. I heard him talk about it. He had, he would at night lock his door and then try to come up with some ideas for the next day. And he had this little lock box with his real phone and his real laptop and stuff, and he had to keep all of that hidden from these guys for 5 days.
That's crazy.
And the other thing, so the equivalent to the rodeo scene, I guess, in this movie would be the scene where, so Borat has to disguise himself.
Yeah.
Because people are recognizing Borat. So Borat dresses up as Country Steve and performs at this gun rally.
Yeah.
So this happened a couple months ago, and it happened in June. Wow. And so
the end of June.
This videos of this were kind of on, the news and the entertainment news as well and stuff. And they said that it was going to be for his show, his Showtime show. This is America. Turns out it was for this movie. So, anyways, when I was watching this interview with Sacha Baron Cohen yesterday, he talked a little about that and how so none of this is in the movie, but so he's on stage as Country Steve, and I guess at the same time this gun rally was going on, there was also a Black Lives Matter thing going on, and some of those guys came over to kind of like, make, kind of check out this gun rally thing, because you never know if they're gonna like attack somebody or whatever. And some of them recognized that it was Sacha Baron Cohen on stage, and they said it out loud, and then it started to spread through the rally, who none of those people had any clue. And at one point, people were going to started to try and storm the stage. So there's a video that Sacha Baron Cohen showed in this interview on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert of the people trying to like jumping these fences to come on the stage. He and at least one of his camera people had to hide inside of an ambulance. There's this video. They get in, they run inside this ambulance, and Sacha Baron Cohen like ducks down. And he's wearing this cowboy hat.
Yeah.
So he like puts the cowboy hat off and he tries to duck down. He's like, okay, so the doors are locked. The doors are locked. And then somebody like starts to open the door that's right in front of him. People are attacking this ambulance that he's in, and then they just so he has to hold that door shut while people are trying to get in.
Who were rushing? Fans or not fans?
No, people at the rally who, when they realized that a joke was being played on them, weren't
they were
happy about
pissed.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe they actually didn't put that in the movie. I'm kind of surprised, because like,
well, but it also like that.
That's too meta. Yeah. That's fair. Cause like, yeah. But you know what's funny? I saw an interview from that same thing. Not like that kind of interview with Sacha Baron Cohen, but I saw a video. Cause these guys at this rally are fucking. There's some crowd. They like, he's saying, Country Steve's saying some like really terrible shit. And they're fucking into it. And anyhow, I saw this interview afterwards, and it was after they found out Sacha Baron Cohen got like infiltrated, and this was in June or whatever, right after the rally. And he was talking to some reporter, and he was like, those views, his views that he was saying on stage, none of us like agree with that or are with that. And you watch the fucking movie, and they are fucking into it. Like, and it's not like they're fucking cherry picking. They show the crowd. Like, it's not like they're like cherry picking here, showing one or two people. There's a lot of people there, and they're saying some really terrible shit. So I don't know, man. Oh man, that was one of the scenes where I was like, I mean, I can believe that happened, because there's a lot of things like that have happened recently, but it's fucking crazy. But it's kind of, that was a wild scene for sure, and that's definitely what I agree with you. That's definitely like the comparison to the rodeo scene.
But I think the biggest thing about this movie to the second one is that. And maybe it was because they weren't able to do as much, for lack of a better term, hidden cam stuff. I don't know what we could call that, just people not knowing who Borat is, because like the cameras are certainly not hidden, but stuff like that. But the narrative of this movie is much more present.
Yes, it definitely is. Yeah, and I actually like that. I think that in Borat 1, obviously it made a lot more sense to not have that. But in this movie, I think it worked really well. Especially with the inclusion of the daughter, I actually really liked that. I really liked that not like it kind of took more of a focus on that relationship and then how that relationship kind of goes into these like, you know, unscripted scenarios instead of kind of how it was before where it was just it was still like there was still a narrative, but it was just a lot less, it was a lot more loose, like you said. So I think having a more definitive narrative here, I personally enjoyed that more, and I thought it worked really well, especially with establishing and making you kind of like her character. And like, I don't know. I think you get a little closer to both of their characters here instead of like them just doing more silly things, which they do plenty of silly things. It's
there's an emotional component that that gets added by seeing their, you know, I mean, like you could argue that like that's, you know, this movie is about you know, a father who just has no idea how to interact with his daughter.
Oh yeah, and that's a huge part.
Right. Whereas with the other movie, you couldn't make any sort of, you know, narrative explanation like that or argument for something like that.
So I like that they have that extra layer there. I think it makes the movie have a lot more depth, and I also think it makes it a little bit more rewatchable.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
So that whole inclusion was great, and like you said, she's amazing. Like there were
absolutely
honestly.
Perfect.
She stole the show sometimes. Like,
yeah, she really did, man.
Over Borat. Like, I don't know how you can outshine that character, but she, in some instances, like, I mean, obviously, she was kind of given the torch in some instances. The scene that, scene with her that I think I will not spoil it, because it's kind of a huge scene, but it's about, like, 30 minutes in. There's a scene where they're at this dance. That, wow. That's all else. That was one of the... I was very... I did not think they were going to go as far as they went. And no, they took it there. And that was one of the... That is almost... it was nuts. Yeah,
you know, I saw like somebody, a father of somebody who was at that dance... say like, oh yeah, at a certain point we knew we were like getting pranked after you know whatever happened, and I honestly don't think that that's true. I feel like everybody always says like, oh, I saw through it at some point. I think that they're just embarrassed. And I feel like that's maybe, you know, it's something that you can't stop, but I just wonder if that's something that really gets on Sacha Baron Cohen's nerves, because he's like, no, I know I got you. Like, you should just admit that you had no idea what was going on. But yeah, in that scene, there's some stuff. It's interesting.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
So the one thing about this movie that for me sort of tied in with the first one was that there are still little instances where when Borat is interacting with real people, they do the same thing that people did in the first one, where they do kind of ignore or reflect back to him what he's putting out, even if it's terrible or crazy. And there are some instances where there's people who I'm sure they're fine people and they definitely don't think this way, but they are acting that way. He's throwing them, and that kind of, I liked that in a way, just because it was like letting you know, like, look, people are still terrible.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's still bad. Everybody's still, like, when they're alone, you know, has the potential to do these things and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
that's specific.
Right. To act differently than what they tweet and things like that.
Especially in that specific scene where, you know...
Well, you get some stuff on the side as well.
Yeah. Dude... With that,
we don't want to spoil it,
but with that guy,
one part, what he says, and then what
is
said to him after that, I was like, this is so crazy. So that kind of felt a little hopeful. like at the very end.
Hopeful?
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
but
I do not. I'm talking about the part in the beginning with this guy says something to him, and it's
right.
bad.
I'm talking about what that guy's one of the people that guy is with says to him in that.
Oh,
right after he says
yes,
that,
yeah.
I was like, okay, so at least somebody but
Yeah.
even that person wasn't doing anything, but at least they,
Yes, I know what you're
said
talking
what
about
they
now.
said in a way.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yes.
It was
I
nuts.
think we were able to dance around that.
Yeah. No, well, that's a key scene that you definitely don't want to spoil because that's one of. I did not expect
I
that.
love that
I
so
did
much
not fucking
because
expect that scene.
Everybody there because it's like this, it's like an old-fashioned like Southern ball, which is such
It's
bullshit
such bullshit.
that people
Yeah.
still do that.
It
Like,
really is.
there's so many elements that go into that, like elements of self-importance and just
No, it
he's
sucks.
a dumbass.
No, it sucks.
And especially because that like the people that are there like think that they're better than everybody else, and that shows you just how terrible they actually are. I love that. I love that you get to, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. That, oh my god, it was nuts. There's a few other parts like that. There's, so, before we get, I don't want to just shove this in at the end. I just really quickly, like, and we don't have to talk about it for a lot, but like, this is like something that we mentioned before, and this isn't spoiling the movie because we literally talked about it last week, and like, it's impossible not to mention. But the whole thing with Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say, obviously last week, I kind of already said what I thought about it. But I also want to say I did not see the full... The clip that I saw was not the full clip.
Right.
It was only like... It was definitely a little bit like cut it down. That doesn't make it better or worse. I just wanted to make that clear. Like, so after watching it now, I still... No. After watching it now, I still stand by what I said, but I can see that there is, like, people are definitely, like, there is definitely, like, a debate going on, and I can definitely see the other, like, it is not, like, I mean, to me, I think he's definitely fucking touching himself, but I think there is an argument there that he could just be taking a long time tucking his pants in.
Yeah,
but
that's tough because she was like,
it happens a while.
Helping him take off his microphone, so she did like untuck his shirt.
Yes, and then the first time he tucked it in, I was like, okay, if it cuts here, then then I don't think there's anything happening. But he did it a little longer than he needed to do it. It was a little...
Yeah, I think that you could definitely say he was at the very least kind of trying to like be like, "What's up?"
Yeah,
you know?
No, he definitely was. I think.
But the first thing he says when they get in that room. So, and this is another thing I heard Sacha Baron Cohen talk about in the interview I watched yesterday. But so there's like this wardrobe in that hotel room, or in the bedroom of this suite, and he had somehow hidden himself in there. Excuse me, and he couldn't see out of it. So he was getting text messages from the producer about like what was happening, so they could plan like when was the time for him to jump out. And there was like a security guy that like swept the room beforehand while Sacha Baron was going in there, and this security guy, after he did that, he shut the door and sat outside of the room while Giuliani and the character's name is Tudor, but Maria were in that room, and that's scary in its own right.
Yeah.
But so he was just saying like his phone was on 3% and he couldn't see anything.
Oh my god.
So it might not. But the first thing that Giuliani does when they get in there, he's like, the thing that's crazy about it is how like business like it is. He's like, okay, give me your phone number and your address.
Yeah.
Like this is the way things go. Like this is how
Yeah.
I've done it in the past. Like,
Yeah, dude.
we kind of got a system down. Oh
Yeah.
man. And
Oh my God.
seeing a politician act that way is nothing crazy, but when it's caught so extensively on
Yep.
camera like that,
Yep.
I think, luckily there was a camera crew there and stuff that,
Mhm.
you never know what's going to happen in those situations. So luckily
Yes.
nothing did happen to her.
Yes, thankfully. That was
but,
just yeah. it was
So
nuts.
I feel comfortable laughing at that particular situation
yeah,
in the sense that like
they had some sense
It's
of
just-
they had
it's
they had a
just-
sense of
and-
control
and, like-
there. Like they
right.
Yeah.
But just but laughing at it in a way like seeing somebody get exposed like that, like
Yeah. I mean I don't feel any remorse like I would have said this before I even saw this, but the man is a dirtbag. And
yeah.
like
it's so crazy. Like that
Oh my
guy,
God.
people loved him during 9/11.
really.
Because of the way. Well, he was the mayor in New York City. When 9/11.
Oh,
happened.
really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that. Oh,
Yep.
the whole thing of him marrying his first cousin too. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
He
I
actually
forgot about
fucking
that.
married his cousin. Sacha Baron Cohen made a little joke as the sound guy, and I was like, I gotta look that up. And he married his fucking cousin. That's crazy. Oh my God. Anyway,
So yeah, this is not an example of like wanting to see somebody at the top getting torn down. This is an example of like these people are doing terrible, terrible things.
yep.
And if you don't realize that, you better open your eyes because
This-
and here it is right there for
I
you.
mean, and this whole thing is yes, and that is what I loved about this, and this is a lot more than the first one. And the first one's political, but like we said, this is a lot more of a political movie for sure. And also it's interesting because you get the sense that in the middle of this movie, obviously they didn't expect COVID to happen. And then it happened.
Right.
So that definitely changed what they obviously did not plan to stay at that person's house like for
Yeah.
5 days.
And
Like,
even those guys don't like they obviously let Borat stay there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they probably like compensated or something.
yeah,
who
they
knows?
probably got paid a little. Yeah.
But they don't seem like terrible guys. But the ideas that they
Some of the
fucking
stuff they
insane.
said like were not great. They said
and
some
I think
really bad
that
shit.
just like goes to show, there's all kinds of stuff like, how could somebody vote for like Donald Trump and stuff? Like
Oh.
who even thinks that way?
And then
Like
there's
these
peop-
people,
yeah.
like there's a ton of people out there who think that way.
And that's it's terrible. Obviously we don't get very political on this show, but we're talking about a movie where it's literally the basis of the film is politics. So but I don't feel bad about talking about it. I just wanted to say that. Yeah, it's crazy, and this is a political movie at its core basically, and it's very relevant to right now. And
That's the thing. I think the turn, because that thing in June with the rally.
yeah, and
And
he sees
there was that McDonald's photo that came out not
Mm-hmm.
too long ago. Like the turnaround on this movie seems to be really quick.
Oh yeah, I mean he also
So it's very relevant.
he
because of that.
he infiltrated CPAC, which is crazy. Like we didn't even talk about that. The Mike Pence thing, like that was nuts. That he actually got in there and like that he actually interrupted that whole thing. Like that was beautiful. I love that part. But
I don't know how he pulled that off.
that's a huge event. So yeah, I don't know either. That was yeah. But yeah, so I don't obviously like we can't talk about everything. Like there's so much that happens in this movie, and you got to really watch it. We don't want to spoil everything either. We really don't. But
No, because people love the first one.
no,
And,
yeah.
I'm sure they're very excited about this.
No,
this
and-
sequel.
And it's great. And there are gonna be people. Oh my god, there's already people that are like, because this movie is obviously taking a political stand against
Sure.
against, you
But
know,
also, yeah, well, there's that. It's obviously, like the main focus of their anti-political stuff. What I don't even know how to say it, but like the people they're making fun of are conservative people.
yes.
But they're also Borat is doing some super offensive stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which could offend a lot of people on the other side. So,
but
I like that you get to have
Yeah.
something for everybody to get angry about. That's very thoughtful of them.
yes, but yeah, I already know that like there's gonna be like a lot less people for this movie because it's like, oh, this movie is just against blah blah. But
Well, that's what I'm curious about is because like when the movie is politicized, which it already has been,
it has been, of
Um,
course. I mean, it is a political movie. It has to be. It's
how are people? Because I feel like when there's an instance like if conservatives or liberals say they like something, the other side or they don't like something, right? The other side is like, oh well, I do like this. Like this is a good thing.
yeah,
And I just wonder how that's going to work for this when you do have all that that awesome, like so well done anti-conservative stuff, and then you also have I can't spoil that part, but Borat doing these other things that are like
yeah,
very offensive.
yeah.
Um,
I will say,
it's gonna
as someone, and I don't feel uncomfortable like saying this, like as someone who sees himself as democratic or more democratic, I'm definitely biased in the fact where this movie is not like it's not like it's attacking like things that I like particularly believe in or think. It's more attacking the other side. So like, but what I love about this movie is what you said is this movie is obviously targeting those people, but it's not really as much about sides. It's more about like just what people think. Like obviously there is an element of sides that are in there, but it's way more
Right.
about what they think. Like he's not.
Oh, sure, the movie is, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like that's what it's going to turn into.
Oh no, I know.
Imagine
Oh, it
in
is.
the eyes of a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
At least a lot of people that are loud.
Yeah.
And I just think because there's stuff, and I can't spoil it. All I'll say is this: like obviously in the first one, Kazakhstan and Borat, like there's a joke about how like anti-Semitic they are, and that comes into play in this movie, of course, as well a little bit.
Oh, especially in one scene.
So I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, is it going to be? I think it's going to be difficult for people who are liberally minded to stand by this movie for being so anti-conservative when it's also so anti-PC. It's anti both of those things.
Yeah, I don't think I will say really quickly, and then we'll rate this sucker. Especially with the scene I think the stuff you're talking. Like I know exactly what you're bringing up. I don't think that. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, personally, I don't see it this way. I don't think when I saw those things, and I know I don't like. I'm not. Obviously, I don't speak for everyone, and I'm not what encompasses like that mindset. But I saw it more as obviously he's playing this character, and not as that he believes. Obviously, he's not pushing these things. He's not pushing these
obviously.
things. So I saw it more as he's just like using it as a way to like kind of
Right, but I just think in the past that has not necessarily excused someone's behavior in those instances.
That's
Obviously, he's doing it to be funny, and
that's fair.
it is funny.
I think some yeah.
Look, that's all I'm saying.
No,
I think
no,
it's gonna
I
be-
got you.
And I just like that it's got stuff that will offend everybody. Like that's why South Park is so good, because they can do a thing where you walk out on the street and you have a guy who's conservative be like, oh, they really stuck it to the left, and then in that with that joke, and then the guy on the left saying like, oh, they really stuck it to the right with that joke. You know what I mean?
No, I got
Like
you.
that's what it's at its best.
But this movie, I loved it, and
Yep, it's still very, very funny.
oh, it's great. I actually love it more that it's even more. I like it personally more that it's like more culturally relevant, especially watching it right now.
Right.
It's and obviously I'm biased, but like the main message of this movie. Oh, the end of this movie, not gonna spoil it, is amazing. The end of this movie is incredible. It like, I don't know if you liked it, but I did not expect it, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
So definitely check that out. Oh, I really want to say, this movie was directed by someone different, which I thought was interesting. I think you can definitely tell. And
Yeah.
but it's still really good. And I think the music is better in this movie. I like the music a lot more in this movie. I think they implemented a lot better.
Yeah, I think that the fact that, like we said, the overlying narrative of it is so much more to the forefront in this one. I think that it lends itself to all of that.
Yes. And yeah, I'm gonna give this movie. I'm gonna give this movie 9. I'm gonna give it 9 juice boxes out of 10. I could give it 9.5. I'm really close to giving it 9.5, but I'm gonna give it 9. It's really good. I recommend it to anyone. Well, I mean, there's gonna be people who aren't gonna like it, but I think it's a great movie.
I think most people will probably like it.
Yeah,
Though.
I love the statement that it's making. And
Right.
I mean, it says right at the end, like, go vote. Like that's what it's going for.
Yeah, it definitely does make a cool statement, and it's also hilarious.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Which
It's
is
very
wonderful.
funny.
It definitely doesn't feel. I don't think that people can make the complaint that this movie feels like preachy in any way with any of that
Oh,
stuff.
people are going to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a relevant argument. I think the movie's so funny.
No, I do too. I don't think it's
And
preachy. It's just
so I'm gonna give it 8.5 juice boxes.
Oh wow, okay.
I actually missed it's fascinating to me that they decided to make the narrative much more prevalent. And the pacing I thought was a little weird at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, very good movie.
It's a great score
I think
still.
definitely a solid subsequent movie film for sure.
Yes, for sure. I definitely I had a feeling too that, and it's not like we disliked either movie, but I had a feeling that I was gonna, like, after watching this movie, I had a feeling I was gonna like this one a little bit more, because I like this one more than the first one, and I had a feeling that you would like the first one more than the second one. But like that, yeah, they're both great films. Just I think they both cater to a little bit different people, like different. I think different people are gonna find more enjoyment from one than the other, and I think that's.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Without a doubt. Like,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Some cases extensively. So.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's great. It's one of the best movies of the year, easily. Like, easily. And I'm not obviously there's been not a lot of movies coming out right now, but this is definitely one of the best ones of the year, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah, definitely go check it out. Especially I recommend checking it out before voting day, because that is especially if you're thinking about not voting. But anyhow, yes. So, yeah, that's the show this week, everybody. I think that's all we got. So we'd mentioned it before. Possibly watch party coming up like very soon. I know I say that every week, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen one of these times, and you're gonna be thankful that we said it. So definitely check us out on social media. The place to look is Instagram, at film_juice, because that is where we get the lovely artwork and thumbnails made by Andrew Canada, the man himself. And that's where all the hoppin' news happens. So definitely check that out. And on Twitter, we're also on Twitter at the Film Juice Pod. So check that out as well. And yeah, I think that's all we got. We're everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to it now, and Podbean. Yeah. So, with all that being said, yeah. Thanks for watching. My name's Joe Dorado. Same time. Oh, I messed it up already. Same time. God damn it.
I don't know why you say that now. Because
No.
it's not accurate.
No, I know. That's why I say it. I say,
Cool.
I don't know, I think it's a cool tagline, whatever. Same time, same place, not really. My name's Joe Dorado.
I'm Andrew Canada, and we'll see you next time at the movies. See, that's how you do it. That's a good phrase.
I'm not quite.
Not